Hello and welcome back to another episode of Curiosity Builds. I apologize if the sound isn't that great. Unfortunately, I left my podcast mic back in Seattle. But here we are to do another episode on the Conundrum Desk using our Curiosity, LLMs, and good old-fashioned try and try again to work out how we can get some of this stuff cleaned up at the very end here. Now, this is going to look a lot different to you if you've been watching the videos before because, believe it or not, I was able for $8 on Alaskan Air to get connected to their internet and pull out my computer and spend 5 hours basically coding quietly in the corner of my seat. And that's kind of funny if you've ever seen me in real life. I'm not fitting any corners in any seats on any airplanes. Anyway, so I went through and I tried to get this a little more, visually appealing, still keeping basically what we had, but some very notable changes. So putting the cards on here more like a pin board, right, to kind of go with the desk theme. So when you create a conundrum, why do birds poop but not pee? That's not really a conundrum, but I just need something there because then I can pin it to the chatter board. Okay, not a leaderboard, it's a chatter board. I'm going to pin it to the chatter board and I pick my pin. I put a gold pin and then there it goes. It falls wherever it falls. I think that's pretty nifty. We've added these little chatter-worthy stamps to the top three. So if you get up here, so if this one gets another vote, it should pop up. Oh, the vote was already counted. I can't remember again. So anyway, it'll pop up here, and you'll get this little badge. The trash piles are working correctly now. I can revive it. The reviving goes to here. And the reason it goes to here is you can decide if you want to edit it, because now you can put in your own conundrum if you would like you just saw me do, which is something we had originally, but I kind of wanted to give people the option, because what if you've got something really good that's knocking around in your brain? We move the conundrum generation button down to make it a little more, make the flow make sense, right? So I'm up here, I'm typing this in, I'm going to pin it, or I'm going to toss it, or I can't think of what to write. Oh, generate a conundrum. I think I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I want to connect this so it's all together. But anyway, these are the drawers. They need some work. They were better before, but we added so many different options now. So we've got the topic, ethics, society, civics and power, logic, identity and reality, tech and tomorrow, manners, money and work. We've got the vibe, present day, sci-fi, fantasy, absurd, historical. We've got the stakes, so they're low, medium, high. We've got the people, so we still have yourself, family, strangers and friends, but we've got coworkers, community, and pets now. And we've added a whole new button, the constraint button, because in order to have like a compelling conundrum, right, you need like some kind of twist or some kind of ultimatum or some kind of like thing that's like, oh no, right? Like there's ambiguity here, but also I'm forced to do something here that might be uncomfortable. So the constraint, we've got, it's a secret. There's a time limit. It's one time only. It's rule bound. There's a public fee, budget cap, reversible, can be undone. There's a relationship risk. So anyway, out of those, really liking how it's working, but I am stuck. So we got the LLM wired up. It is wired correctly. We are connected. It is generating conundrums, but it is somehow, for some reason, not making it here. So I started to investigate with Claude, and right away I thought I should stop because this is good to put on screen. So first, let's go back and kind of look at what we talked about. So we added this whole prompt, right? I created a prompt going on to ChatGPT and telling ChatGPT everything about the game that I wanted, everything about the game that currently existed, everything about the Slate Political Gabfest. I went and I found a list of popular conundrums, ones that were, really good because it's like, oh, we can't stop talking about it, or really bad because they're just like, oh my gosh, that's like difficult and hard. And then also poor examples. And then tried to encapsulate the vibe that you get when you listen to the Gabfest and how they talk. And so I workshopped this a couple of times, and then I had ChatGPT write a prompt that we could put into our backend here. So when it goes through and it does a connection, and just so you know, we used OpenRouter, which allows us to connect an API into the Conundrum website. It allows me to make calls to an LLM and using this prompt. So, and before, we weren't getting very good conundrums. It was basically just like repeating what the constraints were, what the topics were. And it was because there was no prompting. We hadn't gotten there yet. And it's not that I forgot that. We hadn't done it. So we've done it here, and it's a great prompt. It's working well, but it's still not generating. It's still not coming back. In fact, take a look. If I come here, let's get rid of this. Oops, let's get rid of this. And I say, let's see, we'll go ethics, sci-fi, low stakes, low ethical stakes in sci-fi with the community. And the constraint is it's reversible. Okay, so low stakes, reversible, it kind of helps each other out. But watch, let's generate a conundrum. Oh, right, consulting the after hours desk. I don't know about that. This is AI BS that I put in there, by the way. In a sci-fi setting, your community confront low stakes and ethical dilemma. But so basically, it's just defaulting to the local, right? Just like doing the bare minimum freebie, whatever, to get in here, something to make this machine work, right? Just to prove that everything's going. It's almost like a dummy test. But we should be able to see the real thing in the preview. So I talked to it, and it was like, everything is set up correctly. Here's what I want you to do. So it added the debug logs, which allows me to check the terminal what's going on after I restart the server. Okay, so I restarted the server and tried again, and I'm supposed to look for these things. So restart the server, I tried again, and I come back to the terminal. I'd restarted it, and I'm looking. Okay, yeah, API get true, great. LLO response. Conundrum. Your small town gets offered a free neural implant that eliminates. So this is, look, it's the beginnings of the conundrum that we'd want to see with the constraints that we have. But generation failed. It stopped right in the middle of it. Unexpected token. So basically, and by the way, let me go back and say, let me clarify something. If it sounded like I didn't know what I was talking about here when I was reading it, I didn't know what I was talking about. I told it, I don't know why it's doing this, right? Take a look at this screenshot. We've wired everything correctly. I've gotten an API key, which, took a couple texts out to Daniel to help me do while I was flying. We did some real work here. What's going on? Then it told me that it added the debug logs and told me to do these things, okay? I am assuming by adding the debug logs, it helps us track these things up front so I can take a look. I think that's how it works. Now, we can go double check that on Google, which I probably will after this, but I want to get through this right now. So anyway, I'm going to go through here, and instead of just typing, I can copy and paste what the terminal is saying. So we're going to go just copy the whole thing right there. Actually, could you even add that? No, it's like it'd be nice if it was like an add to terminal button. There might be, actually. There is from here over to the agent. There's an easy add, but anyway, I digress. By the way, it's pretty nifty if you paste in here. If it's very long, it'll just show that. You can go up into it and change it, but that's what it shows. Okay, so found it. The LLM is wrapping the JSON in Markdown code fences. Need to strip that before parsing. Bebopping. We sure are. Over here in DC, it is cold fixed to train JSON instead of raw JSON. So now straight Markdown fences before parsing. Try again. So we will kill the terminal. Brutal. We will start another terminal. We'll do our nifty bun dev. Getting our buns out for dev. Buns out for dev. And what this will do, start a new local host. Load it up. Get rid of the old one. Let's do. Check in tomorrow. The vibe is present day, though. Ooh, I'm already gonna stretch it. Make it medium stakes. Medium stakes feels like voting a 7 when you're asked, like, do you like this on a scale of 1 to 10? Let me give a little advice here to anybody that is listening. If you want to know if you like something or if other people like something, ask them to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, excluding 7. And if they say 8, 9, or 10, great, they like it. If they say 6, whatever, they hated it. 7's a cop-out. People go there if they don't want to make you upset or they don't want to be pushed to make a choice. Get rid of 7. I promise. I promise. And I do that personally all the time. I sit there and think, oh, do I really like this? Let me rate it here. Oh, man. Helps me make decisions. Anywho, the people, your coworkers, and the constraint will make a secret. There's a secret. Okay. Generating. Come on, baby. Make this a short episode. Unfortunately. I mean, I wish I could have recorded a lot of their. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. The only problem is it's supposed to be 2 sentences is part of the prompt. So your company's AI assistant has a glitch. That occasionally will give you perfect answers to work problems by accidentally accessing your coworkers' private drafts and notes, information you're not supposed to see. You've landed 2 major wins this quarter. These insights and your boss just hinted at a promotion, but you have to report the bug and admit what happened to IT, which would likely cost you the promotion and damage relationships with the colleague who learn you saw their private work. It like bled over here. Some will argue the wins were accidental and while you earned the promotion through execution, while others will say benefiting from unauthorized access, even unknowingly at first, creates an unfair advantage you're obligated to disclose. What's the conundrum here? Right? Oh, you might have 2 major wins. You report the bug and admit it happened to IT, which would likely cost you the promotion. Oh, yeah. You have to report the bug. I feel like this doesn't position it as much of a conundrum, though. I guess it would say what we would have to say, like, what would you do? But I wonder why this is bleeding over like this. I want to do a little screenshot. And because I'm not sure, to be honest, I'm not sure if this is like bleeding over or if this is some leftover return from when I was trying to get this to kind of label what these were, but then they got too clunky. Also, by the way, this kind of makes me want to rethink the 2 sentence thing because it's kind of juicy, right? I still like how these are though. So, anywho, don't want to make a perfect the enemy of good or however you say that, but there's going to be some enemies here because I'm going to change some of this stuff. So, let's get this screenshot. I'm going to do it one more time, actually. Let's get the screenshot over to the agent. The agent. I think agent's fine. I like calling them tools because that's what they are, and that's often how they behave, and that's often the vibe they give off when they're wrong. Okay, so we'll go over here to Claude. Boom. Yay, it worked. But unfortunately, I don't know why there's that bleed over. And we had like a 2-sentence rule in the prompt. This is much more than that. I don't actually think it's a bad thing, but we need to contain this more. Adjust the prompt to make sure that it's concise, and maybe we should come up with a character limit that matches the input box. No, because you can just type more if you'd like. I think we're going to have to make the input box, when you're typing it in yourself, something that pops out. So that way you can type like more on the notepad and see the whole thing more clearly in larger font. Yeah. I wonder what that would look like. So you click in here in the notepad, but then it like pops out so it's larger and you can, like this whole thing pops out. You can type in there and then you can pin it to chatter, or you can toss it, and then it does the crumple up motion from there. And when you hit the generate conundrum, it just also goes to the notepad, which then expands so you can read the whole thing. And then in order to make that fit on the chatter board and the cards, I think we want to show the first 2 lines, and then you click on it and it folds open. So it'll cover the other ones below it. We don't want anything moving other than the card you click on, and you can read the rest of it. Oops, don't show it again. But before you do that, confirm you understand. And also, maybe we split this into 2 tasks, because I do want to know what's this bleed over and why it is so long. And then I want to make the adjustments because I do like the longer one, and I like what we just said. Oops. Okay, I think we should split that into 2 tasks. The first task, why is there bleed over and why is that so long? That conundrum that was generated, or why did it appear? You know what? Oh, I was talking in there and that changed it up. Whoopsies. So we want to make sure we keep those 2 tasks separate, the UI and interface changes and the discovery of why that came over. Okay. It's gone through and done all the thinking. It should have done that. Yeah. Okay. The UI improvements, here's what I heard. Pop out notepad model. Click the notepad input. Expand. Expandable chatter cards first. Okay. So yeah, fix the bleed area, the text area, auto resizes the control and number scrolling shows the text from the beginning. Let's try that. Are you sure that's what it's going to do? Yeah, hopefully. Let's double check that fix. I'm glad I split this into two tasks because I don't, it's kind of like wiping the crumbs out or getting rid of the scraps or sweeping up the hair off the floor for the next thing, the next person, the next, whatever. It keeps it cleaner. I've already submitted code and updates that carry things that doesn't need to. And that can cause like bloat and it can cause like weird things to happen, especially if you have the LLMs working quickly to go through and search things. They might grab something they weren't supposed to or grab some context by accident. And that's something that, a software developer or somebody else might catch and not do or not figure out at all is in there. But these LLMs can find it and it can mess with them. Okay, we'll just do three things just to get this going. No, we'll do them all. We'll do them all. We'll do them all. Okay. Budget cap. Generate. 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 Okay, there's still bleed and it still pushes everything down, but that's okay. Oh yeah, this is something else going on here. Some will argue lifting up the most vulnerable is the ethical priority, while others will say community-wide protection serves the greater good. So I was trying to give like some feedback here, almost a little Hypandra-esque, isn't it? So I want to get rid of that though. First, I just took a look at the conundrum return, and I realized below the box, below the text field, after you've generated the conundrum, there's like I don't know, a reflection or like an observation that shows up. Is that left over from something we did before? Because I don't think we need that. The whole point is we want to generate discussion. I don't know if I want to lead people with that. Also, this is meant to be kind of fun and playful, and we don't want to get too pedantic or teachy. Do. Love this. Teachy. Making sure to get all the new words. All the new words. Your village's annual harvest festival. My village. Wow, that was a quick fix. Goodbye. Your village's annual harvest festival can afford either a magical shield that protects the town square from storms for the next decade, just a decade, or a enchanted well. Excuse me, grammar much? Unenchanted well that provides clean water to the poorest neighborhood forever. The town council split. Okay, it is fantasy, and the stakes are medium, I guess. You only have funding for one. we only have... Okay, here's the deal. We are having the harvest festival, and I don't know where the magical shield comes from or the spell comes from, but I think Link needs to show up with some coins so we can get both. What the heck? Okay. Okay. Yes. Removed the debate hook displays extra that can understand. Oh, without a teachy explanation. Thank you much. Okay. Sorry for that. Now let's go back and let's do this one first. Okay. It is showing that the cards are clickable. Why do birds poop but not be? This shouldn't be allowed. Okay. If I had a lot of time, I would probably go see if we can instill like a thing, but we're just gonna have to trust people want to do conundrums. The absolute position or expand state. You refine the approach. Well, I get over here and generate some more. Let's do a society topic, and the vibe is historical, and the stakes are low, and the people are me, and the constraint is public. I feel like maybe we need to get some more explanations on what these are. Maybe a little explanation guide. You're a merchant in 1890s London, and you accidentally overcharged a regular customer by 2 shillings. Enough of the family's bread that week. Your shop's reputation depends on appearing flawless and admitting the mistake publicly, required by guild rules. Means posting a notice on your window for all competitors and customers to see for a month. I mean, let's see. Do I publicly admit it or I keep it to myself? Can I just give the shillings back to the guy and be like, whoopsies? Also, here's like, some more of whatever I'm a merchant of. Clearly not bread. Or maybe bread and I'm way overcharging. But anyway, we are going to pin this and we'll make it a gold pin. Okay. 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 Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay. Milwaukee. Milwaukee. All right. So, build it. And if you build it, it will come. Doo-doo-doo-doo. The nice thing is all of the white pins were like OGs that were just added. I'm gonna try to like get this cleaned up before I push it out. Like, see if I can wipe the slate somehow. Slate. I meant to do that. These should clear automatically, don't you think? And then I wonder, since they're clickable, you should be able to click it now, and then I can like see the constraints, or yeah, from the drawer. I also want to make sure we identify the ones that are written by AI and the ones that are fully written by people, or at least have people's input, right? Dun 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 dun. Oof ah oof oof ah oof oof oof. Oh, that one doesn't click though. Yeah. Okay. If I was a great tester, and I am, I would do another one of these, um, and see how they interact with each other when they expand. See what that interaction's like, right? Because I don't believe Claude gets it right every time. So you're a minor poet. Don't get a big head. You're a minor poet in 1920s Paris, and a wealthy patron offers to fund your writing for a year, but only if you publicly read your work aloud at their monthly salon in front of the city's literary elite. You freeze in front of crowds and have always published under a pseudonym to avoid attention. Let's pretend it's because you're a woman and you're probably not allowed to do this as much. Yeah, all right, we'll pin it. We'll make it gold, solid gold, baby. Let's see. All right. Okay, and that's what we wanted to see. That's what we wanted to see. Bingo, bango. Love it. Now let's go up and grab the number one. By the way, the reason I chose this one is because we'd kind of been dealing with the text fields and the cards already, and this is like a completely different thing and a bigger beast. So, but I think necessary because I think this is too small to read and type in. Right? I want to be able to see the whole thing. I mean, I guess you could just like be able to pull it and expand it, but I kind of think Notepad comes up. Let's see. Okay, so it's starting to make some adjustments here. Oh, there we go. Click it. My notepad. Look at how big my notepad is. I've got a very big notepad. Yes, I do. All right. All right. All right. All right. Now, I wanted to. Oh, how do you delete it though? Delete. Delete. I want to select and delete. Delete. I probably should be playing with it while it's in here building. It's probably asking if it wants to build. So we'll let it build. I wanted to mention because our Curiosity Builds series is probably what I would put the Conundrum Desk under. It's definitely not a 2-hour build. It's definitely not like a huge, expansive, deep build either. I want to estimate. I mean, I was on my flight today for like 5.5 hours. Definitely did not do this the entire time, and I also lost internet several times. It wasn't like a perfect situation. But I feel like if I add up all of the time I've spent on this, it's probably maybe 5 hours total. Um, a lot of it has been because I've done some rewrites, and I am trying because they might actually see this, so I want it to be cool. So I'm putting a lot of detail time into it. Not that that's not what you want to do for your builds, and that's not what other people should do. But for my purposes, where I'm demonstrating stuff on these videos, I am going back and redoing things that were fine, absolutely good, great, but just I wanted to change them because it was like a personal little thing. So, yeah, let's take a look at the whole situation here. I like that it said click, but then I got rid of that. So, imagine you're a 1970s disco jockey and somebody has just offered you $1 million contract to DJ in Vegas for the rest of your life. The only catch is you have to do it with your mom. Would you do it? Okay. Toss that because it's garbage. You tossed it. It did it. Oh, there it says click to right. Okay. It's probably because I was in it earlier, right? You can end them here. Yep, we want those. We want that little hero text or whatever that's called. I think that's called hero text, isn't it? It's also at the top. Sorry, mumbling to myself. So, what if we do one of these? Identity, reality, present day. The stakes, medium. The people, pets. The constraints, rule bound. Generate me a conundrum, Johnny. Consulting the after hours desk. I'm going to think a little more about the text there. Okay. Your dog has been certified as an emotional support animal, which allows you to bring them into your apartment building that otherwise bans pets. But the certification requires you to follow strict public behavior rules: no off leash time in common areas, mandatory vest wearing, immediate removal if they bark. Your dog is happiest running free in the building's courtyard and socializing unleashed with the unofficial neighborhood dogs that gather there every evening. Follow the ESA rules means Following the ESA rules means losing that joy but keeping your housing, while breaking them risks complaints that could invalidate your status and force you to rehome your dog. I don't know. It's getting a little over the top here. I need to have it dialed back a little bit, but it's really funny though. I don't know. We'll think more about that. But anyway, cool. So pin it. Pick my pin. Green, green. I love it. You know what? I think I've solved the pin thing because, well, no, people still want to be able to pick their pin. Um, yeah, I want to make sure. I'm going to add a few other features here, right? I really want to add commenting, but it's getting kind of long, but still cool. People could discuss it. Interesting. Okay. All right. I think that is looking pretty great. My one tiny little thing I want to do really quick before we move on to the next big thing is, once a conundrum is generated and been either tossed or submitted, we need to reset the drawers, just clear them out. Also, now that the conundrum post-its or cards can be longer and they can expand, I want to include a footer on each card that says if it was generated by AI and what the constraints were, just like, the little choices. And then if it's not, if it's generated by, just a user, I want you to just in the footer put a little, I don't know, human or smiley face that fits with the aesthetic. Okay. It is working on adding the card footers. It's probably going to ask me to push forward with the build in a second. We'll see what that looks like together. Oh yeah, there we go. AI topic, blah, 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 blah. This one I did. This was not why I did this. This is me, but it's an old one. So let's see if it gets it now. Well, actually, why don't we give it a chance to finish the build? There we go. Give it a chance to finish the build. Yes, sir. I am a pizza. Just want to see if it will identify me as a human. Nope. Well, I also said bzz. So I just did one and it said AI generated, and it also listed topics, but I just typed in, I like pizza. And then another one from before that I did about birds pooping and peeing is also listed as AI. So let's go figure out what's going on. But before I do that, what have I always learned? Bun dev. So let's kill the terminal, right? Let's kill it. Goodbye. This is the actual live site. And let's launch it again just to make sure that it's reset. Most of the time, Claude's pretty good about, even though it tells you to do it, it's pretty bad about just doing it. But you never know. Let's see. AI. I'm a pizzazz. A pizzazz. Yeah. Okay. So we stand by this. Let's try again. Before I forget, the context percentage down here. So these conversations get very long, right? And the agents are going back and referencing them, right? They're having to reread parts of them. It becomes a large task. And so once it reaches a certain percentage, it compresses 100%. It compresses the conversation. So basically, like, writes itself a summary of the conversation and then deletes everything. So that way, it doesn't have so much above it. All right. Let's see here. For both the as you can see, things were used even the human modified. All right. Topic: identity and reality, the vibe, sci-fi, the stakes low, the people, the community, the constraint, a budget cap. Generate me a conundrum, Johnny. I've used that joke before, pretty sure. But if I listen back to this and this audio's really harsh, you'll never hear it. Okay. Your neighborhood pooled funds to buy a shared VR rig that lets anyone experience life as a different person for 30 minutes, different age, body, background, anything. The budget only covers licensing 6 identity profiles total, or 8 identity profiles total. Do you vote for maximum diversity, 8 wildly different experiences, elderly farmer, teen athlete, etc., or do you maximize depth, or maximum depth? Excuse me. I'm editorializing the AI. 4 profiles, but each comes with a return visit that shows the same person 10 years later. So it's like very specific. I feel like you could have stopped it at like, but the budget only covers licensing for 2 of your friends. Like, yeah. Anyway, that being said, I will do that. But the budget only covers licensing for 10 trips or 10 uses. You have already used one, and your partner has been skeptical. They left for a long hair appointment. Do you just go for it? I feel like almost everybody's going to say no, right? But I just need to put something in here to, because really, a better conundrum would be the budget only covers licensing for 10 uses. Man, now I'm trying to think to like make it better. Okay, we just need to pin it on here and get it in. Let's see, give it blue. Okay. AI, it didn't track the human input at all. I was wondering if that was going to be difficult. So I just did a couple of examples and it didn't work for the human and AI combined. So after some finicking around a little bit, we figured out it was an SQL editor update that needed to happen in Supabase. So I went over there and made the updates. Now we are going to run this really quick. See if we can get something to show up that says humans and AI. If I edit this just a little bit. Just a snuggle bunch. Your space colony's AI has detected a slow radiation leak that will cause mild cognitive decline in 15% of residents over 20 years. But the colony law requires a supermajority vote of 75% to authorize any structural repairs that shut down life support sectors. Do you tell the truth and risk falling short of the supermajority? I'm gonna adjust this prompt. We're gonna go back to shorter, more concise, but still really fun, right? At least a little more concise. Do you tell the truth and risk falling short of the supermajority, or do you exaggerate the danger and secure the votes? I want to change this to 45%. Okay. That simple change should, nope. Oh, we need to restart the server, maybe? Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Let's see here. We will, just to be safe, kill the bun dev one more time. We will launch the server. We will generate a conundrum really quick. Generate onto the notepad. Or not really quick. There we go. Your cat has been sneaking into your neighbor's house through their pet door and eating their dog's food for months. Your neighbor finally notices and posts strict building rules requiring all pet owners to microchip lock their pet doors. The neighbor requires it? Oh no, he posts the rules. He went into the rule book, or they went into the rule book. Do you confess it was your cat or stay quiet? I mean, I'd stay quiet. I'm afraid of him. But let's just get rid of that. Or stay quiet. Your ugly cat. Oops, your ugly cat. Pin to chatter. Red. Okay. Oh, it still shows the human. Still not working. And you know what? This is kind of key. I like definitely want to show human, definitely want to show AI, but showing human and AI together is way more important because that's the future. And this is a curiosity build, and curiosity builds are all about building curiously but intentionally and practicing, good foundational literacy on AI. It's overriding the source, ignoring the edited, defaulting to generated. Let me fix that. Thank you, darling. It's interesting the things that it can do and the things that I need to do. Still needs you for a lot of stuff. And even if it thinks it doesn't, it does. Let me tell you. All right, build it. Build it. You're ugly cat. You're ugly cat. All right, restart the server and try again. I could just restart it, but I like to do this because I like saying bundev. Bundev. You think your buns are dev? Have you seen my buns be dev'd? Okay. Let's do a civics and power one. The vibe is historical, and the people are strangers. The stakes are low. I feel like the stakes, maybe a button we don't need anymore. We'll make it a secret. Generate a conundrum. There's a secret. There's a secret in the civics and power of history, but it's not that big of a deal. You're a minor clerk. Why is it why do we need this? I'm just a clerk. I'm just a clerk. You're a clerk in 1880s City Hall who discovers the mayor quietly diverted $200 from the lamp oil budget to buy winter coats for orphans. Technically illegal, but harmless in kind. Technically illegal, but he's a sweetheart. You can report it anonymously to the inspector, following the rules, or stay silent and let irregularity slide. But either way, no one will ever know what you chose. So, no one will ever know what you chose. Are you going to get somebody in trouble who helped poor children because he moved money from lamp oil? I mean, I guess I'd want to know what were the downstream effects of the lamp oil budget being a little light. 200's a lot of dough for 1880s, even if it was like 1880s New York. That's a lot of money. Okay, but harmless in kind. You can report it anonymously to the inspector of the lamps. Okay, pin to chatter. White. Okay, let's see here. Where are we? Yes, human and AI. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to call that an episode. I am going to commit this. Don't you forget to commit, and don't you forget to stay curious out there.